Oh, Vikings, let's win this game.
I don't know which of these stories has your attention the most right now. Is it the possible rise of Elijah Williams? Is it the ongoing uncertainty surrounding Harrison Smith's future? Is it all the fallout from J.J. McCarthy's comments about Kyler Murray? Or is it the growing confidence inside this offense after Jawan Jennings compared the Vikings' receiving core to the Kevin Durant-era Warriors? Because one thing is becoming clearer by the day. The closer we get to the season, the more the Minnesota Vikings are turning into one of the most fascinating teams in the entire NFL. There's always one player every offseason who quietly starts turning heads before most fans even realize what's happening. Not the first-round pick, not the expensive free agent, the guy nobody expected, the guy who wasn't supposed to be here in the first place. That's exactly why so many people inside TCO Performance Center are starting to pay attention to Elijah Williams. Think about this journey for a second. 6 years ago, this wasn't some nationally recruited prospect choosing between powerhouse programs. He was an unranked player from New Jersey who barely got a college opportunity before signing day. Morgan State gave him a chance. That's it. One chance. And he turned that chance into a dominant college career with 31 sacks and 52 tackles for loss. Yet even after all of that production, NFL teams still weren't exactly lining up. No combine invite. No major showcase events, no draft selection, not even one of the highly publicized undrafted free agent signings immediately after the draft. Most players would have seen the dream slipping away. Williams didn't. He showed up at Vikings rookie minicamp as a tryout player and forced coaches to notice him. Marcus Dixon noticed him. Kevin O'Connell noticed him. Teammates noticed him. Suddenly the kid nobody wanted was earning a contract. Then he kept climbing. He impressed during off-season work. He attacked meetings. He asked questions. He earned respect. Then came the preseason, where he started showing flashes that made fans wonder if there was something real here. Fast forward to this year's OTAs, and there he is, running with the starters during portions of team drills. Let that sink in. A former tryout player is now competing for legitimate defensive snaps after Minnesota lost veterans like Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. Those openings have to be filled by somebody. He's added size. He's spent a full year developing inside the system, and every step of the way he's continued proving people wrong. Maybe this story ends with him simply earning a permanent spot in the rotation. Maybe it ends with him becoming one of the surprise contributors on Brian Flores' defense. But if there's one thing we've learned about Elijah Williams, it's that betting against him hasn't worked so far. There are certain players who become bigger than statistics, bigger than Pro Bowls, bigger than contracts. They become part of the identity of the franchise itself. That's why the silence surrounding Harrison Smith feels so strange. We're approaching June, and Vikings fans still don't know whether we've already watched his final game in purple and gold. Think back to that emotional send-off at US Bank Stadium. Think about teammates honoring him. Think about the feeling many of us had leaving that building believing we had just witnessed the closing chapter of an incredible career. Yet here we are. No retirement announcement. No final decision. Just uncertainty. And honestly, that's what keeps the hope alive. Harrison Smith doesn't owe anyone a rushed answer. After 215 NFL games, after 14 seasons of giving everything to this organization, he's earned the right to decide on his own timeline. Josh Metellus recently talked about spending time with him and made it clear he'll support whatever decision Smith makes. That's friendship. That's respect. That's understanding what a player like Harrison means to a locker room. But this is where Vikings fans start wondering, is he really done, or is there still one more run left? If he watches this roster come together throughout the summer and feels that competitive itch return, the conversation changes quickly. We know he can still play. Last season proved that. We know Flores trusts him. We know younger players would benefit tremendously from having him around. And let's be honest, the thought of seeing number 22 walk back into that locker room one more time would hit a lot of Vikings fans right in the heart. Retirement may ultimately be the decision. It may be the ending everyone has already prepared themselves for. But until Harrison Smith says those words himself, a part of Vikings Nation is going to keep looking toward that door and wondering if one more season remains. You can always tell when a story touches a nerve because suddenly everybody has an opinion. That's exactly what happened after J.J. McCarthy spoke about his relationship with Kyler Murray. What should have been a routine OTA media session exploded into one of the biggest conversations around the NFL. The reason? Honesty. Or depending on who you ask, maybe too much honesty. McCarthy described the situation in a blunt way that many people didn't expect. Instead of giving the polished quarterback answer, he essentially admitted what everybody already knows. This is awkward. This is uncomfortable. This is competition. Meanwhile, Murray took the veteran approach, praising the younger quarterback and emphasizing teamwork. Immediately, the comparison started. National analysts jumped in. Former players weighed in. Some called McCarthy immature. Others said he handled things poorly. Suddenly, people were questioning leadership, locker room dynamics, and everything in between. But here's where this conversation gets complicated. Ben Lieber raised a point that a lot of Vikings fans quietly agree with. We constantly complain that athletes give robotic answers. We say we want authenticity. We say we want honesty. Then a player actually gives an honest answer, and everyone gets angry because it wasn't perfectly polished. McCarthy wasn't attacking Murray. He wasn't criticizing the organization. He wasn't creating some public feud. What he revealed was frustration. And honestly, would anyone expect anything different? He was drafted to be the future. He expected to lead this team. Now he's facing real competition for that opportunity. Of course, emotions are involved. Could he have phrased things differently? Probably. Would a cleaner public relations answer have avoided headlines? Absolutely. But football players are human beings before they're media-trained professionals. What fascinates me most isn't the controversy itself. It's how this story now follows every step of the quarterback competition. Every throw in training camp, every rep in preseason, every update from Kevin O'Connell. Fair or not, all of it is going to be viewed through a different lens now. And that means the pressure surrounding J.J. McCarthy just got a whole lot heavier. You know that feeling when a roster starts looking so loaded that you almost don't want to get too excited because you've been hurt before? That's where I think a lot of Vikings fans are right now. And Jawan Jennings probably summed it up better than anyone. When he compared Minnesota's wide receiver room to Kevin Durant joining the Warriors, you could almost hear fans smiling, not because the comparison is perfect. Football isn't basketball, but because the message was clear. This group knows how much talent exists inside that locker room. Jennings arrives after proving himself as one of the toughest and most reliable receivers in football. He's physical, he's competitive, he's exactly the type of player defenses hate dealing with. The crazy part? He isn't even the number one option. Justin Jefferson is still here, Jordan Addison is still here. TJ Hawkinson remains one of the best tight ends in the league. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason provide versatility in the backfield. And now Kyler Murray walks into all of this and calls it an embarrassment of riches. That's not media hype. That's a veteran quarterback looking around and realizing how many weapons surround him. Murray knows Jennings well from years of NFC West battles. He called him a dog. That's one of the highest compliments you can get inside NFL locker rooms. A competitor, a fighter, a guy who finds ways to make plays even when everything gets messy. The exciting thing isn't just the names on paper, it's how the pieces fit together. Jennings brings a different style than Jefferson. Addison stresses defenses differently than both of them. Suddenly, defensive coordinators are forced into impossible decisions. Double one guy and another burns you. Focus on the receivers and Hawkinson becomes dangerous. Drop extra defenders into coverage and the running game can punish you. That's what makes this group so intriguing. We've all seen talented Vikings offenses before. We know expectations don't guarantee results, but it's impossible to ignore what's being assembled here. And as training camp gets closer, one question keeps getting louder. Just how explosive can this offense become if all these pieces truly click together? When you step back and look at everything happening around this team, it's hard not to feel that familiar mix of hope, excitement, and cautious optimism that only Vikings fans truly understand. Elijah Williams is chasing a dream that keeps getting bigger. Harrison Smith is holding the hearts of an entire fan base in suspense. J.J. McCarthy is fighting through one of the toughest moments of his young career, and this offense suddenly looks capable of putting fear into defenses across the league. That's why this offseason feels important. Not because answers have arrived, but because so many questions are still being written. Which of these stories do you think will have the biggest impact on the season? Let me know below. And as always, thank you for being part of this incredible purple and gold community. We'll be right here following every twist together. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.